Hey there, homeowner. Is renovation on your to-do list this year? Well, one of your very first important steps is to find your style. Let me ask you a question. Do you know what your style is? Or will you know it when you see it? This is an important differentiator. Now, as you start to identify an architect, designer, or contractor to work with, it's really important to do some upfront work. Finding your design style and honing it in advance so you know what you really like and want, and also what you dislike, will help you communicate with design pros and make sure that you're able to get the home and the transformation that you're looking for. Let me give you an example. Let's say that what you really want is to transform your kitchen. Now, you can say this in two ways. One way, I want a beautiful, modernized kitchen. There are a lot of people that can accomplish that for you, right? And there are a lot of ways to get there, a lot of designs and a lot of options. Now, when you choose to work with somebody, they're going to have a repertoire and a portfolio of the work that represents what they already know how to do. And there are some people that are versatile and can incorporate new styles, but largely you want to find somebody that is known for a look or a style and that can deliver on what aesthetic you love, you've identified, and you're looking for. So let's try that statement again. I want to, update my kitchen. Now I can say, what I'm looking for is a Scandinavian and Japanese inspired modern kitchen with a clean aesthetic, minimalist design, and I'm really looking for a neutral palette with natural finishes. Now that is design style, right? So if you're saying, I like somebody that can do a blend in Scandinavian and Japanese design, now you know what you're looking for. Last year, I was working with a client and he was evaluating some different architects to complete a project and design a complete renovation of the front yard landscape. Now, there are a lot of people with the technical skills that can do this job, but what he was looking for was really specific. And he asked for some help identifying which architect to go forward with and to compare the proposals that several of the architects that he'd spoken to had provided. I got a copy of each of the three proposals. And the first thing that I did was to go online and I Googled each of these individuals and I looked at the photos and the examples of their work and their portfolio. What I found is that only one of the architects that had presented a proposal had a design style and a portfolio of work that was what this person said that they were looking for. They wanted something ultra modern. They were looking for poured concrete terrace design and something really specific. We looked at some other pictures and I'd driven by a couple of examples of homes and knew that that was what he was ultimately looking for. Now, the other proposals were by excellent professionals that I'm sure could do the job. But if the design style had been identified, and it was from the beginning, would that person be satisfied with the work product of somebody that doesn't do exactly what he's looking for? When you're deciding to renovate, you're going to make a large investment of your time and money, and you're looking for a transformation. Now, sometimes people don't know exactly what they're looking for, and that is okay. That's why you're hiring an architect or an interior designer or a landscape architect to help you bring that vision to life. But it's really important to know, hey, what is the history and the work product that this person is known for? And do I see myself in that work? Here are a few places that you can start to look for inspiration so you can start to hone your design style. Now here's the old-fashioned way, and I really recommend doing this. One is to go get design magazines. So go to your local grocery store or a bookstore and look for interior design or home renovation magazines. These will have lots of printed pictures, and you can go through and see that the aesthetic between, say, Dwell magazine, which has really modern finishes, or Architectural Digest, or Domino, or some of these other ones, will really differ, and they have very different aesthetics in each magazine. You can find the one that you're pulled to and called to. And what you're looking for in this is to flip through the pages and be like, wow, I love that. That is it. If you feel indifferent or it doesn't inspire you, or you really, really dislike something, those are important feelings to note as well. So start collecting images that really light you up. Things that you're like, wow, that is amazing. If only my bathroom could look like that, or only my kitchen would look like that. It would be like my absolute dream. Then the ones that you're indifferent about, or things that you feel strongly about, like for me, unpopular opinion alert, I really don't like farmhouse. I don't love farmhouse. I'm not rural. I don't live on a farm, and I'm over shiplap. Really, if I ever got the chance to meet Joanna Gaines, that would be amazing. I think she's amazing, but that style, it's just not for me. And what you're looking for, maybe farmhouse does it for you, but get really clear on what you like and what you dislike. So as you go through those magazines, have pictures of like, hey, not this. Absolutely, under no circumstances, this, because that will help clarify and save you time saying, hey, no, I don't like that. It's not for me, from the beginning. And the designs can be built around those assumptions. Another place that you can go that I highly recommend is Pinterest. And you can create a board. Now, I recommend creating 2 boards, one of the things that you like and one that you dislike. Those will be really helpful visual cues for you to share with an architect or designer as they help you bring your design vision to life. Now, one thing I found about Pinterest is it tends to start to deliver you the same types of images when you like something. So as you start to look through the images, just kind of know that you're going to get more of that same kind of thing. So it doesn't give you as much variety as if you go and get 10 different magazines that are known for very independent looks. Another thing that I love to do is go to open houses. I'm also a real estate agent here in Seattle, and seeing things in person is a different type of experience. When you walk through a house, you suddenly can see not just how a space looks, but how it feels. So as you walk through spaces, one in your neighborhood or things that are aspirational to you, go through an open house. Step inside the spaces. I really recommend grabbing a laser measurer because you can also take note of how big the spaces are. As you're thinking about if you're doing something really dramatic, maybe you're adding an addition or you're knocking down walls and you want to know if a space will feel big enough or if it will function big enough, you can stand in a space that's that size. And that will give you that perspective and make it so much easier for you to say, okay, when you're designing the owner's suite in our new house, it needs to be at least this big because you've stood in a space and that felt really good to you. The other thing to do is, so walk around, laser measure, go to open houses, and finally drive neighborhoods. So in your area, you can look for places for inspiration. This is similar to the open house suggestion, but it's to also just drive around and look for inspiration. You can see things that you like. So, each time we were making a decision on our home, from what roof or what siding or the type of windows or the color of the paint, we would get in our car and we drive the neighborhood because it is really so much easier to imagine the design style that you want when you can see it in person. And it's great to see it in a magazine or online, but in person is really different. It really helps you orient yourself in a space in a way that you can't do when you're looking at a picture that has been curated and perfected for a magazine. So drive a neighborhood. You can decide what type of roofing you like, if the siding or the color or the shape of the windows, those types of things, if those are part of the design choices that you'll be making in the future. It will help you start to say, hey, I absolutely love this. I love the way that they transformed this mid-century modern and made it feel new again. Or I really like this traditional home with, these craftsman elements, whatever those things are, and take note of the words that you use as you describe them. These are a few of the ways that you can hone your design style. Now again, As you go through and you create that mood board, you can do it on paper. You can write down words or things that you associate with. So when I say rustic, what is your response to that word? Or if I say modern or colonial or vintage or contemporary, what is your response to that type of description? And then also, what are the images that you associate with that? You can start to collect those things on paper, online, but make sure that you have them in an accessible way so you can share them very easily with your designer, architect, or contractor. That will help you turn your vision of what you like into an actual experiential space that you enjoy for years to come. So, an important step as you begin to plan your home renovation is to find your style. And don't assume from the beginning that, hey, I already know what I want. Take a look around, experience spaces in person and online, and look outside your comfort zone. I remember walking into a furniture and lighting store when I was in Denmark. And it was an absolutely transformational experience for me because for the first time I walked in and I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is it. I love this look. It was so modern and clean and everything was simple and elegant in a way that was intentional, and everything had its place and a reason for existing. Now, whether or not Scandinavian design lights you up the way it does for me, I don't know. That's okay. But I do encourage you to step outside your comfort zone of things that you think that you like. So maybe get magazines that maybe you hadn't considered before, because there might be some things in there that you haven't just been exposed to and you realize, wow, this is amazing. I love it. And then you have a different perspective about what to go forward with your design style. This will help you identify the professionals to work with downstream. So it's better to do this activity before you've worked with an architect or designer. Of course, if you've already started down this path, it's okay. You can still go in, find things that you love, and share those with your designers. But when you're trying to find the right person to work with, it does help if you've done this work in advance. Before there's the back and forth saying, oh, you know what? You just paid them $200 an hour to design this space, and that wasn't the look that you were looking for. Now, can they redo it? Yes, absolutely. It's much easier to redesign things that are on paper or made of lines than it is when there's an actual space. But instead of paying for rework and redesign, you could communicate this in the beginning. I'm Julie Bennett, and this is the Renovator's Toolkit. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back next week for the next bite-sized renovation tip. If you're looking for more inspiration and help as you get started on your home renovation, I encourage you to check out my free guide. It's available in the link below, and it includes 5 avoidable renovation regrets and what you can do instead. This guide was created from my own experience in my home with things that I wish I had done differently. I reflect on specific examples from my own experience, and most importantly, what you can do instead, so you don't have to go through the same expenses, rework, and headaches that I did over these items. You can just build them into your plan and avoid those mistakes. Thanks again, and don't forget to hit the subscribe on your way out. See you next week.